What up and welcome and thank you for tuning in to the Beneath the Dirt podcast. I'm Rone Bone. It's been a minute, but I knew I couldn't leave y'all hanging without breaking down the top albums of 2023. Ever since I started this podcast, I've done some form of top albums for that specific year. This year is no different. We got to break it down. We haven't talked new music at all this year, and I appreciate everybody for their patience. If you still are rocking with me out there, I appreciate it. And let's break down our top albums of 2023. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review, and all that good stuff. It's much appreciated. And let's get into the motherfucking show. Yo. All right, we're here. We're going to break down the top 10 albums, and we ain't going to waste no fucking time. We're going to get right into it. Coming in at number 10, Darby O'Trill and his album Creek. This is his debut album on Chapter 17. It was announced this year, obviously, that he was signed to Chapter 17. He dropped his album, as previously mentioned. And in my opinion, this is Darby's best work yet. Best work yet. This album is a fucking banger. I do skip a couple tracks on here, but this shit, for all the other songs that I don't skip, are just fire. Devereaux with the production on here is fucking insane. Y'all know Devereaux, one of the best producers in the underground, in my personal opinion, my personal favorite, doing it in the wicked underground. And Darby O'Trill put together a fucking fire album with Devereaux. Features on here from Hex, Ouija Mac, and a couple others. But I love the shit on here. I love the sampling on here. Some complaints I saw from people was, the sampling that Devereaux is doing on the production, sampling, ICP. He did some other sampling on other projects as well. But on here, he sampled, I believe it was The Killing Fields on, what was it? Whispers from the Medicine Cabinet. And that shit's fucking dope. To me, we're living in an era of that song came out fucking damn near 30 years ago. Let these new cats sample the shit. I'm with it. I fucks with it. I rock with it. I used to be of that old school, old head mentality. I like to call it old head mentality of don't touch the classics. Don't be doing any of that shit, but fuck that. This is hip hop. I know it's the wicked underground and, some of these people might not really be hip hop heads like that, but this is what it really is with the sampling shit. It's super dope, man. Darby comes so fucking hard on this album. My favorite tracks on this album is more of the slow, sad shit on this album. Like A Moon Fit for Building Castles Under, featuring Ouija Mac, fucking dope hook on that song. And All Day I Dream About Suffering, like, come on, man. I fucking love that shit. But a dope album from Darby O'Trill. Nonetheless, gotta go peep it if you haven't checked it yet. Just a fucking banger of an album. And then we got, coming in at number 9, we got Buckshot with Hunter Games, his newest solo project as of this recording that he has dropped. And I've stated in the past, Buckshot is just getting better and better and better. And this shit right here, this solo project, proves it. Now, before I get people in the comments saying, but 3 of those songs were released on the Underground Avengers Project EP that he put out last year. So it technically shouldn't count. Take those 3 songs off this, and this is still a fucking banger of an EP. It would be an EP at that point, but we're rocking with 11 tracks right here, clocking in just over 36 minutes. But I'm including those three songs because the three songs, Violence with Lil White, No Games with drummer Be Good and Stevie Stone, and We Working with Light, they're fucking fire tracks, whether they were released a year ago or on this project that dropped on Halloween. Regardless, this project is fucking banging. And of course, the standout track, in my opinion, Moonlight featuring Straight Jacket. They did a video for it. That shit came out dope. I think that was the only song on this project that Seven didn't produce. I think Straight Jacket produced that one. Fucking love that track, man. Such a fucking banger. Another standout for me would be Stains. Buckshot on these hooks on this fucking project is fucking killing it. I love the production on here too. More of a boom bap feel on this Hunter Games project coming from Buckshot, and it's just, I love that boom bap shit, man. And this project really got that kind of flavor on it. It's so fucking dope. And he's got another song on here called Undone with Twisted and Recognize. Recognize is on the hook. And that feels like some shit that's like 2012 Abominations type shit. You know, Seven produced that album as well. And that feels like that shit could have been on Abominations. Just a dope track. Buckshot fucking killed it on here, man. His songwriting gets better. His hook game is as strong as ever. And highly recommend it. My personal favorite Buckshot project that I've heard yet. Hunter Games. And the dope thing with Buckshot, you know, you got the cover, you got the Hunter's Moon is what it is. He dropped Hunter's Game with this, you know, with the cover the weekend that there was a Hunter's Moon. Like, dude is real methodical with his shit. I love it. And it's a fucking dope project. You gotta go peep that shit, man. Buckshot stays fucking killing it. And then coming in at number 8, we got Kung Fu Vampire with his album Blackheart Machine. Man, I've known Kung Fu Vampire for probably 15 years, or known of his music and shit like that. But the last few projects that he's put out is his best shit ever. My personal favorite would probably still be Come Dawn, but Blackheart Machine, it's another short project, 35 minutes, 13 tracks, but it's a fucking banger, man. All sorts of emotions on here. You got the opening track, Sugar. Just love the hook on that shit. The production's on there. I love the way Kung Fu Vampire does the whole just sugar, like his voice. Nobody sounds like Kung Fu Vampire either. And then you got like the title track to the album, Blackheart Machine, which he did a video for, which is like some jazzy, upbeat type shit, but talking about people got black hearts and shit. Love that shit, man. Got features on here from AWACS, Triz, production from Action Paxton. Seven did some production on here. The song with Triz was fucking fire. Torment. It's almost on some wicked shit. That song right there. Fucking dope. But probably the standout track for me. And I don't know how anybody else feels about this shit, but Neck and Neck with AWACS. Dude, that shit is fucking fire. I love that shit. Kung Fu Vampire really switched it up on the style for that one. And that song sounds like it was made for AWACS. Like AWACS just, that was his type vibe and fucking killed it. But not one bad song on here from Kung Fu Vampire's Blackheart Machine. Just dope shit from the Vampire on the West Coast. Killing it. Just getting better and better with each project. Without a fucking doubt. And then coming in at number 7, we got Crossworm and his album Heathen, originally titled Anti, but he ran into some algorithm issues, switched to name and cover. It's now called Heathen, and this project is a follow up. If you remember a couple years back, he dropped a project under the name, actually, a couple projects under the name Animal, doing like a dark pop. I'm going to call it pop. I think he calls it dark wave. But this is probably my favorite Crossworm project at this point. I love the singing. I love the route that he's gone down. I've said it before. I've always felt like his production is made for singing. His style of production is just made for singing. And he's fully embracing this dark pop, dark wave, dark synth pop, whatever the fuck you want to call it, vibes. And this album, another one, front to back, banger, 34 minutes, like short albums. We're talking about short albums here, but fuck, man, they hit hard. He even redid a couple tracks like Everything Changed, which was an Animal song, and Your Misery. So fucking dope. But my favorite song on here, Get Out of Here, featuring his Bodies Below Sea Level bandmate, Samson. That shit is a fucking banger. I love that song so much, man. That one got the most plays off this project, but front to back, this shit, I love the way the emotions change on the album too. Like, to have a cohesive project, to throw big overused words out there, to have a cohesive project, you got to have those emotions where you got your ups, you got your downs, you got your ups again. And he fucking nails it on this project. Another standout for me would be Candy. It's just so fucking fire. I love the hook on there. Like, some of these songs sound like they could be played on radio. Not sure if that's intentional or not, but regardless, like I said, my personal favorite Crossworm record yet. I think it's definitely up there, but I banged the shit out of this album all year long, and he absolutely killed it. If you haven't peeped out Crossworm yet, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, because I couldn't be fucking more on that dude's shit than I am, because I just love the fuck out of it. So dope. And then we got coming in at number 6, Cabal. Cabal is Buckshot, Low Key, and Mr. Gray. The follow-up to The Watchers dropped this year. And The Pit, in my opinion, might be better than The Watchers. This album feels like they're more connected with each other on this album, if that makes any sense. Like, the way they're doing hooks, a lot of these hooks have all three of them on the hook doing some shit. And it really brings that group like they were in the same fucking room recording this shit at the same time. Maybe they were. I doubt it. But maybe they were. And, this is a longer album coming in at just over an hour. No features on the album either. Another takeaway. No features on this shit at all. There's one song that I skip sometimes. We Come in Peace. I sometimes skip it, but not that much. But every other song is a fucking banger. One Dark Night. The beat on One Dark Night, 7 killed that shit. And then you got songs like All Rise. The hook on All Rise is... Dude, that's a fucking mosh pit banger if there ever was one right there. All Rise for Cabal. Low Key with his harmonizing on that shit. Same with Fire From Beyond, Forest Lights. Like, come on, man. Just bangers on this album. Like I said, maybe better than Watchers. I think it might be better than Watchers. Just feels more like they were connected doing this album. 7 produced the entire shit, as he does with most of Mob Style stuff. Fucking killed it. And of course, they had to outdo themselves with the merch drop as well, killing it in that aspect, but a fucking banger of a wicked shit album. Like, straight wicked shit album, which this is. Like, there ain't no fucking any other type of emotion but wicked shit on this album. Probably the best wicked shit album of the year. Cabal's The Pit, in my opinion. Because I'm looking at the rest of my list right here, and none of them are really straight horrorcore albums. But yeah, Cabal, Buckshot, Low Key, Mr. Gray, absolutely fucking killing it again. Coming in at the number 6 spot. And then we got at number 5, Ouija Mac with his only solo project of the year. Dude dropped I should say solo project that dropped on, all the digital providers, Apple Music, Spotify, all that shit. But his only solo album of the year, Detritus. He had that whole Scroll Keeper thing going at the beginning of the year, which was super dope. And maybe we'll break that down one day. But this album, Ouija Mac, man, to me just doesn't fucking miss. Hasn't missed since Resistance 2 Hell's Hollow tape. Like, ever since Resistance 2, this dude has been on a fucking crazy run, just dropping project after project. Tons of group collaborations as well. He dropped, 4 group projects this year alone. Like, just crazy busy year from Ouija Mac. Couple of my favorite tracks on this album would probably be Way the Shit Go towards the end. I just love that kind of vibe. Way the Shit Go is fucking fire. Well Wicked, again. Devereaux on a couple tracks on here like Clown Love, Well Wicked, sampling some old school ICP shit. I'm here for it. All fucking day. Sample the old school classic shit, because I think we are in that era where we can do that shit now, without a doubt. And who better to do it than fucking Devereaux and Ouija Mac, right? But he fucking killed it on here. This is kind of a prelude to Dark Planet, the end of the series that he had. He had the elements with Trash Fire, Gutter Water, Wasteland, Stalewind. But man, fucking banger of an album. Coming in at just over an hour again. Back to, we're talking about a little bit of a longer album, but it don't feel like it. I know motherfuckers got short attention spans these days, but he absolutely kills it on Detritus. Devereaux on the production, like I said earlier. Not to beat a fucking dead horse with all the shit that I say, but producer of the fucking year, in my opinion. And then we got coming in at number 4, Oh the Horror, and their album, The Super Devil Made Me Do It. Man, I couldn't have eaten my words any fucking more than I do with Oh the Horror. When these dudes first dropped, I didn't give them a fair chance. I think I said that when they dropped their last album. What was it? 1762. I can't remember the name of it was the Salem Witch Trials, whatever year that was. That was the year or the name of the album that they based it off. But anyway, The Super Devil Made Me Do It, their newest project. And this was kind of like a revamped version of The Devil Made Me Do It, their first EP, which all of the songs on that EP, except Fuck the World, their cover of Fuck the World, made it on here. Weird Shit, Funny Money, Hollow, Fake is the New Real, Count Swagula, all new revamped versions. And I'm here to say I love Grady Finch's production. He's no longer in Oh the Horror, which is unfortunate. But I love his style of production and the style of production they do with the rock music. I'm very particular with the rock music. There's no in between. It's either I fucking like it or I don't. And it's never just okay. It's either I like it or I don't. And Oh the Horror, the way they mix the rap, the metal, the trap shit and everything else, every other style in industrial, whatever. They fucking kill it. This was an absolute banger of a project. Another short one here, 37 minutes. They're no longer rocking with M&E. But regardless, Twisted was on a couple tracks on here. One with Twisted, one with Monoxide, Jimmy Madrox. The Hollow remix with Monoxide, fire. I love that. Was like one of my favorite songs on the original Devil Made Me Do It. Even Super Famous Fun Time guys came decent on here, and y'all know I ain't the biggest fan of them. But favorite tracks on here: Jekyll and Hyde with Great Dig and Jamie Madrox, banger, fucking banger. And then the revamped version of Fake is the New Real featuring Tom Barber. God damn, that's some heavy ass shit. And then what else? Probably Apology. Apology might be my favorite song on here, though. Grady Finch on the hook. Verses are heavy as fuck. And then he comes with his singing shit on the hook, man. I love it. Oh, the Horror absolutely fucking kills it with their last couple projects. And they got me eating my words on the harsh criticism that I unnecessarily threw at them. Just because I didn't give them a fair chance. I just, I took it back with the last album that made like the number 2 or number 3 spot. And now here they are back again in the number 4 spot. And these dudes are fucking dope, man. Killing it. Oh, the Horror with the Super Devil Made Me Do It. And then we got coming in at number 3, we got Ildren from King ISO. Man, hour 9 minutes and it doesn't feel like it. This feels like a 35-minute album to me. Like I play this shit front to back. Not one fucking skip on this project. And I feel like sometimes King ISO be rapping my life. I'm like, this dude's talking about me in this fucking song. Y'all know King ISO gets very personal, introspective on his songs, very big mental health advocate. And I'm here for it. Not a ton of features. You got 20 songs on here, 19 including or not including the intro. Not a ton of features. You got Tech 9, X-Rated, Tybo the Truth, Snake Lucci. And he did the production on this entire album, as King ISO does, which he doesn't get the credit for. Producing his own shit and then rapping over his own production. Come on, man. Standout tracks on here. My personal favorite would probably be Midwest Baby. I'm not a Midwest Baby, but fuck, that's a goddamn banger. They killed that shit. King ISO and Snake Lucci. Like, makes me proud to be from the Midwest, even though I'm an East Coast kid, Dope song. Love that. That sounds like some radio shit to me. Midwest Baby sounds like some radio type shit to me, but the title track, Ildren is another one of my favorites. Nightmare, probably my second favorite track on here is Nightmare. I love that shit. The way the beat builds up throughout the song, and then the drums finally kick in on that second verse, man, and the shit he's rapping about on there. One day I pray, one day, man. That shit is... Love Nightmare. Such a dope fucking track. Attack of the Clones featuring C-Mob. Banger. And then he's got a song called My Kids, which he's talking about his kids, of course. Stepdaddy. Talking about being a stepdaddy. Talking about being raised by his stepfather. Not knowing his own father. A lot of personal shit from King ISO. As we've grown to know over his years of his work. This is his 3rd album on Strange Music, coming in at number 3. I think he had the number 3 album last year as well with Get Well Soon, but King ISO might be my favorite Strange Music artist ever that ain't Tech 9. Like Brother Lynch Hung is up there, Prozac is up there. But King ISO, this dude is his voice, his delivery, he does a little bit of harmonizing here and there. Absolutely fucking kills it on this album. Love Ildren. Highly recommend that shit if you haven't checked it out already. And then coming in at number 2, this one came completely out of left field. I wasn't anticipating this album. I didn't even know this album was coming. By the time I had heard this album, it was already out for probably close to a month, if not at least a month. I actually saw Crossworm on Facebook make a post about Stray's verse on the song Awful, about how he switches his flow up and how fucking dope and technical it was. And just him talking about that one verse on this album, I was like, I'll check out Stray. I know who Stray is. He's from the band Sky Swamp Orange. And he put out I believe this is his debut solo project. I gotta say, this dude sounds like he's been rapping for a long ass time. Like, this don't sound like a fucking rookie, you know? Sky Swamp Orange has an album out. This is his debut album. I know he's released some other shit in the past, but like, this dude sounds like a fucking veteran and a pro at doing this shit. Cloudy Alibi, instantly on like first, second listen was like, this is one of the best albums of the fucking year. Without a doubt. Such a banger, and it came out of fucking nowhere. Nowhere. Like I said, I didn't even know this fucking album was coming out until it was already out. Features on here from his bandmate, Novels. Famz, or Fams. Recognizes on here Mad Max, James Joyce of Squatch, Low Key, and his band Sky Swamp Orange. So not overloaded with features. 34 minutes, another short project. 13 tracks, 11 not including the intro, and then there's like a interlude / skit in the middle of the album. Again, another album where you're riding some highs and then you're riding some lows. This dude gets introspective, personal on this project. Love this shit, man. The album starts out with Black Mold, a fucking banger. He dropped a video for it. Go peep it. It's fire. But Black Mold is a fucking banger. Love that beat. The way he builds his vocals up and starts just going crazy with the rap. Same with Awful. Awful. Dope production. I don't know who did production on this album. I don't know if he does his own production or what. But the production on this album is fucking banging. Awful. Like Crossworm said, like I had mentioned earlier, his flows. You know, he's just doing a traditional flow, and then he just all of a sudden switches it up to some double time shit. Fucking kills it, man. Love that shit. And then you got the more personal songs like The Procession, Transmission Lost, Overcasted, Early Grave. Like, I love that shit, man. I love it. Love those emotional type songs. And then, you know, the bangers, like I said, Black Mold, Body Bag, Haints, Witch Tongue, Flesh with Low Key and Sky Swamp Orange. Like, not one bad song on this project. So goddamn good, and Stray fully got my attention. Whether Sky Swamp Orange drops next or he drops another solo project, whatever it is, he got my full attention from here on out, because, like I said, this album came out of left field. Wasn't expecting it, and it was a fucking absolute banger. Banger. And before we get into the number one album, there is a couple albums that I want to give honorable mentions to that just didn't quite make the list. And it's mainly because they came out later in the year, and I was mostly consumed by King ISO's Ildren at that point. But we got to give props to Tech Nine, presents Nut House, signaling the sickly. This shit, dude, Nut House, 66888469993. This dude's been repping this shit since day one. And they finally put out a project. It's an EP, 10 tracks, 27 minutes, but it's a fucking banger. If you love KOD style tech, you're going to love this project. I pretty much guarantee it. Only a couple features on here, X-Rated, King ISO, and Seuss Mace. But Tech 9, Flack the Grimstress, and Scarecrow come so dope on this EP. You got to fucking peep it. They even dropped a video for it. Hopefully a full length comes of Nut House. That would be dope. And then the other project I want to give props to is Mav and Pete Twist. Mav, of course, from The Cloth. The Cloth kind of had a quiet year this year, but Mav came out fourth quarter and dropped a fucking banger with Long Story Short. 28-minute project, man. A lot of these projects are short, but they're fucking bangers. You got songs like Feed the Beast, Multiply the Wealth with J Royale and DJ TMB. 6 hours, 10 minutes with ST Knack. Like, Mav is so fucking dope. I love his style. And this might be my personal favorite project from Mav. Like, this is definitely going to get more plays. But like I said, those two projects, because of King ISO's Ildren, anything that came out fourth quarter was tough to fit in because I'm still fucking stuck on it, man. A lot of these projects, I'm stuck on them. But there can only be one. And if you saw the cover art for this episode and you know who that person is, then you already know. If you don't know, well, get fucking educated. Dot Strife with his album, I Am Atrophy, hands down, without fucking question, my album of the year. It dropped in February. And when I went to go put this list together, I started putting this list together about a month ago. And when I put this list together, automatically at the number one spot, without a fucking question, didn't even have to think about it, was this album. And I've known all year, every time a new album came out, whatever came out, I listened to it. I'm like, this album ain't beating I Am Atrophy from Dot Strife. I played the ever-living fuck out of this album, dude. I can't even tell you how many times I listened to this album. If I go to my Apple Music replay, the top songs of the year is this album. Straight up, the top 10 songs on my Apple Music replay is this fucking album. This is another album that kind of came out of nowhere. I knew it was coming. I knew who Dot Strife was, but it wasn't. And this is another album that I wasn't really anticipating that much. He started getting my attention with Trailer Park Tears that he had dropped in 2022. And then I started paying attention to singles that he was dropping since then, and they were sounding dope. I went into this album just like Stray's Cloudy Alibi with not much anticipation, or like, if it wasn't good, I wasn't going to be disappointed. But dude, this fucking album, personally for me, one of the most important albums for me of the last decade. Like, I haven't played an album this much since probably Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap. That dropped in 2019? That was like easily my favorite album that year. Like, I bumped the fucking shit out of that album, as I did with this album. The styles on this album are all over the place, and I fucking love it. You got that trap shit. You got like some industrial shit, some like industrial rock shit, pop shit even. Like, listen to Jet Black Parks and tell me that ain't pop. Like, that shit is so fucking dope. A few features on here. Darby O. Trill, Lil Titan Young Fiend, Ace Tone Boogie, Frank Goldie, and even the intro and the interlude on this project, dude, just so dark too, man. Like the overwhelming feeling of this album for me is just super fucking dark. The shit he's talking about, a lot of depressing type shit on here. Like this is the album that came out the week I fucking quit. Just be honest. The week I fucking said, fuck it, I ain't doing this shit anymore, this album came out. And this album is one of the things that said, maybe I don't want to quit this shit. Hence why I'm here right now doing this podcast right now. Like this album is just, I don't even know what to say, man. Just so personal, and the way I vibe out to this album is just like no other album this year. No fucking album this year for the past few years. I don't know, man. Kind of came out of left field, like I said. Talk about a few of my favorite tracks. My favorite track, it's actually tough, but my favorite track would probably be Finds You Well. That last song, it's a 6-minute track. It's long as fuck, but dude, the way that shit builds up towards the end, that little breakdown, and then it fucking just comes in with that hook and then the fucking crashing. It's just, god damn it, dude. That shit is so fucking fire. The New Secret is another banger of a track. The breakdown in that shit is so fucking heavy. I know Maisie did some production on this album. Devereaux did some production on this album. Outside of the tags, I'm not sure who produced what because a bunch of these songs don't have the tags. Other people could have done production, but this is the shit I'm here for. An album that sounds like nothing else that's out there in the wicked shit. And he's doing wicked shit on this album. Go listen to In the Dark. Go listen to, Power Plant Green. Like he's doing wicked shit on this album. And nothing in this scene sounds like this album. And that's another reason why I appreciated this album so fucking much. Just because it sounds like nothing else. You can do the same shit as everybody else does, but if you're not doing it really fucking good, you're not catching anybody's attention. But if you do some shit that's different and it's good, like you're going to stand out. And this album right here, if there's one album you listen to on this list, it's this album. I've had it on the Weekly Bumps playlist for at least half the year. I think I made the Weekly Bumps playlist to this album in like May or June. Something like that. And I've just left it up there, and I'll probably leave it up there for the time being. But Dot Strife with I Am Atrophy, without a fucking doubt, album of the year, in my opinion. Just a amazing fucking album. And I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Again, I appreciate everybody's patience while I'm on this break. But I had to give this top 10 list. And shout out to anybody that has reached out. Much fucking love. I appreciate it. And I will catch y'all next time. I'm out. Peace.